When you tell someone not to do something, unfortunately, you may find that you cannot prevent them from doing it. This is because your mind's programming works against this approach. What does this mean? It means that the brain, or rather your mind, does not process the word not. The mind operates based on a reference system. When you send a directive to it, it opens a file and narrows the options down to two, yes or no. For example, imagine telling someone, "Be careful, don't fall." What happens? They fall. You say, "Don't shout." The response? "I'm not shouting." And they start yelling even louder. Why? Because the mind processes everything in terms of references. To adopt a not falling position, the mind must first simulate falling. To stop shouting, the mind must first simulate shouting. The point is clear. The mind operates in a linear way. Many people come to me saying things like, "I don't want chaos in my life. I don't want unhappiness, poverty, unemployment, disorder, or confusion. I don't want this. I don't want that." And I say to them, "Great. Now tell me what you do want." The more you say, "I don't want this or that," the more you use negations, which your mind processes literally, missing the negation entirely. Let's do a little experiment. Please don't think of a purple elephant wearing a pink polka dot dress. Too late. You already pictured it. That's how it works. What we say and hear directly influences how the mind processes information. To make the right decisions, the mind needs clarity and affirmative input. So we need to say what we do want. The first thing to understand is that the mind doesn't grasp negations like "not" very well, because it processes in a linear fashion. Therefore, there's no point in using them. The mind can focus on only one thing at a time. It cannot truly multitask. For example, when you're washing dishes, taking a shower, or driving a car, you might think you're multitasking, like singing while driving. But that's not how the mind works. It focuses on one primary task at a time. Think of your mind like a computer. Computers were modeled after how the mind works. For instance, you might open several tabs on your computer. The most recently opened tab is the most visible, while the others shrink to small, nearly invisible parts at the sides. You don't even notice what's written in those tabs until you click on them. This is the same phenomenon when you say you're focused on two things at once. Therefore, since we cannot truly focus on two things simultaneously, we must choose. We can focus on the positive or the negative. If we're going to focus on the positive, it must be with unwavering determination. That's why we must search and, if necessary, meticulously pick out the good moments, making this a habit. For example, while watching this program, ask yourself, what's the best thing about it for you? How does it make you feel? What does it look like? What does it make you think about? How does it sound to you? Or at the end of the day, reflect on this. What was the best thing that happened to you today? When you sit down for dinner, make it a point to share these reflections. Ask each other, how was your day? What was the best moment of your day? What moved you the most emotionally? What made you happiest today? If you're thinking, we don't have time for all this conversation, let me remind you, my dear friends, for 23 years I've been saying this. You might miss lunch or even dinner, but do not miss sitting together as a family at least once a day. Whether it's breakfast or dinner, gather everyone in the house around the table, and if you happen to miss these meals before bedtime, sit down together, even for a small snack like a cookie, some milk, or a bit of honey. But as you enjoy that moment, talk to each other. Share the best thing that happened to you that day. Let everyone focus on finding the good. If you're not hooked up to a machine right now, if you're alive and breathing, then this is already the best thing about today. You're here, you're alive, and that's worth celebrating. So stand tall. Yes, things may be going wrong. Things may not be going the way you want. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Months, years, or even just days from now, you'll look back and realize it was for the best. You were being protected, your rights were being preserved because the Creator loves you. If He didn't, He wouldn't have made you. The fact that you exist proves that you are wanted and loved. If you're facing challenges that feel like setbacks, let me assure you, they're not. Just as I'm standing here right now, as certain as I am about being here in flesh and blood, I'm certain that you are being looked after. What may seem like a problem now is simply a way of protecting you. Trust in that, and then you'll find solutions. You might say, that's easy for you to say. Your life must be perfect. But no, my life is far from perfect. I face difficulties too, but I know there's a reason for them. You are loved, and that's why you were created.